Hello. It is Friday, roughly around 11 o'clock. My intentions were to get started at around 8 a.m., but things didn't work out with delivery like I've hoped. I waited till the last minute, really. So it's somewhat my fault. So I had to go pick up my lumber. I got a bunch of 2x4x8s. My initial framing was 2x4x6s. I was going to cut off 2 feet and just have about this much space above. But again, if I'm going to make this suitable for my wife, I can't have the, like, going into the kitchen or the bathroom literally be this high above her head, you know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and frame it in at 2x4s/8s and have that nice, big roof or ceiling. And I also extended the gambrel roof to be closer to 6 feet in the center, so my wife doesn't necessarily have to bend down too much when she gets up there, nor me, you know. While I was gone, my neighbor came out here with some twine and tied the corners down. Very nice of him. It must have been flying up and he was concerned, so he did that for me, which was really cool. Everything just looks, you know, still intact. Everything looks good. Here's something though. I was able to get this pretty much for free, and I'll tell you why. I played a little Texas Hold'em, and I actually won. And I won enough to purchase this used water tank. Now, let me tell you a little story. When you put that in the back of your truck, make sure that you tie it down well, because if you don't, it could very easily come undone, fly out of your truck bed onto, let's say, Interstate 75, while all the cars are swerving. I mean, you see something like that rolling at you, and it was rolling, it looks like it's 1,000 pounds. So luckily no one was dead behind me, but I watched it fly out of the bed onto 75, starts rolling down the interstate. Of course, I pull over and I'm trucking after it. I'm not very fast. Cars are passing me, just shaking their head. One person stopped, pulled off, and says, "Did you tie that down?" Well, of course I tied it down. He goes, "You should use more than just one rope." Thank you. Thank you for stopping and telling me this. If you're watching this, thank you very much. So, needless to say, the highway patrol pulled over and he asked, "Did that fly out of your truck?" I said it did, but it went into the grass, which it did. It eventually rolled into the grass. So he shook his head and he helped me out. We got it loaded up there. I tied it down a couple more times, but it kept coming loose, and of course by then I was extremely paranoid. But I finally did get it strapped down really tight and strong, but I really screwed up. Let me show you what I did. I thought what I could do is ram it in there and it come out the other side. See the hook like this? Instead, it was a little tight, so I took a hammer to it. That's a big mistake. It's so wedged in there, and on the inside it has a like a 180-degree turn straight up to keep sediment from pouring into whatever you're pouring it out of or whatever. So it's pretty much lodged in there. I might have to take that apart and get a new fitting or whatever, just go match it up and see what I can do and just go from there. So I made a lot more work for myself, and now I have one last strap to go home with. after getting back from the lumber yard, believe it or not, I was able to fit easily all the lumber that I'm going to need for the framing, except for some boards for headers, into the back of the truck. So here's the lumber for the house, plus here's some additional lumber. On the way over here, you know, I did my SketchUp plans, and these were all 8 feet long, and you know, I'm going to put a bottom plate and a top plate, but it occurred to me nothing on the inside is going to fit right because everything's 4 by 8. Is it 4 by 8 by 8? Something like that. So I was talking to my neighbor, I'm like, it doesn't seem like it's going to fit right. He was like, no, true studs, they tend to subtract 3 inches. And these, although they're marked studs, they're exactly 8 feet long. So what I have to do is go through and I have to cut off on the inside framing. I'm going to have to cut off 3 inches on each one because the bottom plate and the top plate's 1.5 inches. So I want it to be exactly 8 feet on the inside so I can put up my panels and stuff, or drywall or whatever, and it'll be a perfect fit. So I laid them all down like this. I'm going to mark 3 inches, and I'm going to take my saw. I'm just going to go straight across and cut them all off. Woohoo! I was in a little bit of a hurry, and all my programming for SketchUp is on my computer, and so I just grabbed my computer and I brought it with me. If it works and it boots, I can turn my engine on and it's still plugged in. I may be able to put it to sleep, that way it won't take up much juice. But it looks like it's working. Fumes are pretty bad. When you know it, my computer's updating. I don't even have internet connection. Damn. Alright. The bottom plate. Alright, bottom plate. Now I tell you, the reason why I didn't just do one 12 feet long wall, because I assumed I was going to be by myself most of the time and I wouldn't be able to lift it. What I'm going to do, I'm nailing down the outside 2x4s. I'm going to nail down the outside 2x4s on both boxes, because I figured once I do that, then I can do 16 on center, starting from one side all the way over, and there will be no guessing. These are 3-inch framing nails. Yeah, that's heaven right there. Nice. Have to turn my generator back on. The nails are starting to not go all the way. Well, whoever thought of laying it down flat and doing your measurements first, thumbs up. Genius. And I'll show you why. So much easier. I know that inside the board's going to come, you know, all the way to the edge on the inside. So you start your 16 from there, and of course it has red marks. So you just line it up exactly on every red mark, and you are dead on. See, it's 16 center. That means every 4 feet it's going to hit this 4 foot mark where you're going to do the edges, and it's going to line up in the center. And then you just keep doing that. There's the other one. See, I may have missed up there. I probably would have, but it showed me no, a board needs to go there. And of course, when I'm putting up my cabinets and things like that, if I do, I know exactly where each stud is by just measuring it out. And see, and I do that all the way to the end where this is the last one. And then of course I'd have to cut to fit the corner there. But that's great. Now what I'll do is I'll nail this side down and then take my measuring stick and go over there and measure the other ones out so this doesn't move. So I'll just nail all these down and go to the other side. Easy peasy.